Hi, I'm Mayor Bob Brucci, and welcome to the 2020 State of the City. This year, we're focused on one of Hagerstown's proudest and most visible accomplishments of 2019, economic development. While I hope it's something you've already taken notice of, since the results are all around us, what you're about to see and hear is how the collective efforts of investors, developers, businesses, companies, and city staff have changed and continue to change the landscape of Hagerstown in order to advance the economy, image, and quality of life for all of us.
What the expansion has done is given us an additional 31,000 square feet over 5 levels, connected on 4 levels to the historic theater.
We've always been looking for a building to own for ourselves. And we happened to find out that the fire station was going to come up for sale through the city's competitive negotiated sale.
I've been in the United States since April 22nd of '99. That's when I arrived here and started working on April 23rd. It was a Friday. And I bought then the restaurant in 2008, December 31st, 2008. That's when we signed. And then we started the renovation in 2017, finishing off 2020.
We were, kind of dreaming on, what we wanted to do, and there wasn't a lot of work for the type of thing that we were doing currently. So we just kind of started thinking, okay, what do we want to do for the rest of our lives? What do we really enjoy in life? And we came up with the coffee shop idea.
I have a theory, which is, capital goes where capital's welcome. And nothing against other communities. Other communities are trying, but I have seen I would call it a political cohesiveness that I've not seen many other places. When you have a state senator and you have a county official and you have a city official saying, this is exactly what we wanted and needed, and you're trying to provide it, the marriage goes pretty well, right? You're both looking for the same thing. It isn't at odds. We're a partner. Our goal is to build buildings and fill them. Your goal is for us to build buildings and fill them. We have the same goal.
NorthPoint's going to be one of the major catalyst projects that's coming up. It's going to spur growth throughout our community. It's a $139 million project that's going to be occurring over the next 2 years. There's going to be up to 1,500 plus jobs that are going to be created as a result of that investment.
Why is NorthPoint interested in Hagerstown is the question. And what we look at is thousands of sites a year on where to build industrial buildings and where to place our capital. And something that really stood out to us was Hagerstown's logistics. But it's not just logistics. So where can we find a site to build these size buildings? These are large buildings. It's not typical to find ground that hasn't been developed. So finding this site with size, the logistics of this area, and then I'd say third for us was labor. It's a strong labor pool, and that's a big thing when we recruit companies. They're going to ask, where am I going to hire 100 employees or 500 employees or 1,000 employees even, and we can say, Hagerstown has it. I'd say the thing that the icing on the cake for us was just the can-do attitude of the city and the county and the state on this project.
The city has developed a process with its plan review committee and the planning commission to where a site plan can get through our processes from submission to approval by the planning commission in as little as about 40 days. In the case of NorthPoint, we managed to coordinate all the efforts of all of our departments, the county and the state, and have a plan ready for approval by the Planning Commission in 58 days, which is very aggressive and very responsive to the local business community.
An aspect of economic development that a lot of people don't think of up front, or they forget about it after the fact, is infrastructure. Infrastructure is not necessarily an exciting type of work to talk about, and it's almost always expensive. But infrastructure projects often form the foundation for economic development. And a good case in point is the project that just began, the extension of Professional Boulevard across Antietam Creek into the Mount Etna Farms property. The project itself is being coordinated and managed by Washington County. But the city is also partnering with the county in the funding of portions of the project, as well as some state and federal funding that's being applied to it as well. The first phase of the project is just beginning construction. That's the construction of the bridge itself that will cross the stream. That's about a $8.9 million project. That's phase one. Then phase two will be the final construction of the road on the east side into the Mount Etna Farms property, connecting to Yale Drive. But it will also be the upgrade of the existing section of Professional Court from the cul-de-sac back to Eastern Boulevard. It's going to be 4 lanes, 2 lanes in each direction, and some other improvements as well.
So it's really encouraging to know that people are confident in what we can offer them and are hearing about Hagerstown and have questions about Hagerstown. I live downtown. I have about a 1-minute walk to work. So even when I'm not working, I can see the people who are coming in with the license plates from Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia. There are people coming to Hagerstown from everywhere, and that's also really encouraging.
We took a huge leap of faith in starting this, and we didn't really know what we were doing, and we've Googled a lot, and we've consulted with a lot of different people and business owners. And so the coolest part of all of it is seeing that other people are supporting our dream and that they are thankful for it. It's kind of validated the fact that we saw a need and we thought that this was a good idea, but other people are telling us that it's a good idea, and we're still busy 6 months in, and so it's just been a really cool process of seeing how this has come full circle and we're seeing it actually working.
The city programs, the competitive negotiated sale, the grant programs for Invest Hagerstown that we used were what made it work for us. If we had to spend money to buy this building for its market value, didn't have the grant availability, we would not have been able to do what we did. So being able to buy the building for $1, which is what we did, that never happens. So we were able to, instead of having to invest money on just getting the property, we were able to take all those funds and really put it towards the renovation.
We have a wide variety of resources available to any prospective business, whether that is our fantastic incentives, which is some of the best in the state of Maryland, to just our commitment from a staff level at the city, to even our business partners in the community, where we're committed to making sure that any new business is a success and that we are supportive of that business.
The City of Hagerstown has been a partner since day one. We began talking to City Council men and women, and very early on got their support on the design process and actual funding for that process. And we also included city staffers in some needs and wants discussions when we were talking about what we needed and wanted in the expansion in the new building. And then probably the most important piece that the city played in the expansion process was through the Permits and Inspections Department. And I cannot say enough, the City of Hagerstown was amazing during this process. We were fully operational during construction. So literally we were creating emergency egress paths every day and then tearing them down so the construction crews could work and putting them back up before that night's performance. I can't imagine that happening in any other community. Even the fire marshal and his department were coming through to make sure we were safely operating and staying on schedule for the project. We did fall behind at the end, and city staffers worked diligently to help us put the puzzle pieces together so that we could reach our goal of the grand opening. But it wasn't just about the grand opening, it was about every single event and performance that was booked thereafter. And they were there every step of the way, several times a day on site, many different people. We're really, really thankful for that partnership.
Economic development for me, my department, and my programs all align together to make sure that downtown is successful as a community and that downtown is full of opportunity for community members, people investing in community, business owners, potential business owners. We want a successful, great experience for all of them.
It's just been really great to see kind of that dream come true. And just being here in the time that we have, a year of kind of build out and 6 months of being open, we've kind of seen this this great vibe happening downtown. A few other businesses have opened since then. You know, there's talks of other businesses coming in the very near future. And just seeing, you know, what I love about downtown is there's this youth thing happening now with, you know, the school with USMH right down the street, Barbara Ingram and the expansion happening there, the Maryland Theater just opening. So there's just a lot of great things happening, and it's been kind of cool. We've been getting customers from other cities coming in, like from Frederick, because we always get the thing like, Hagerstown should be more like Frederick. You know, we've seen some people from Frederick like coming here and telling us like, you know, we need a place like this in Frederick. So it's been kind of neat to see that angle.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it was the right thing to stay in downtown. And I feel like we had, again, when I was doing the renovation and expansion, I had help from the city as well. And there was programs available for development in downtown, what I took advantage of, and that is a reason why we are here, and that's also a reason why we could do all this project. We now doubled our seating, the inside seating. We are close to 200 seats inside, and have basically 3 extra dining rooms on the second level attached to it. Everything is up to date and is basically ready for the next 30 years.
Creating relationships is a huge part of the economic development team's job in the city, and that goes from working with a entrepreneur that's coming in off the street, to a small business that's established, to a corporate executive or site developer that's looking to do business in Hagerstown. And a lot of that relationship building goes back to working with our internal teams as well.
So economic and development, they helped us, you know, find out the type of grant money that we could obtain, loan opportunities. They actually helped us find this location at 2 South Potomac Street.
From the community development office, which I think is where Jill Thompson is, and Jonathan Kearns, you know, they've always been great, not only for our clients over the years, but they really tell us all the programs you have, they explain it to us, they walk you through the steps. They've been great to work with. Because of the PEP program and the other things that we took advantage of, we were able to streamline our permitting, and not having to pay permit fees for these projects. Again, those are all sort of things to help make it smoother.
It's probably easiest for our clients to visit us at hagerstownmd.org/DCED, which is where we have all of our business incentives. We even have a block that says Do Business. And when you click on that, it'll tell you all of the incentives there are: retail and restaurant grants, citywide, Invest Hagerstown. And I think it's easier for them to know going in, okay, I want to redo the brick facade outside my building. The facade grant would work perfect for me. If they have questions additionally, they can reach out to us. But we also serve a large amount of customers who say, hey, I just got a building downtown in Hagerstown, or I'm interested. What can I apply for? What can help me out? So when we ask for square footage details, things like that, where they're located, if they're in the enterprise zones, and then we can help them out from there.
Our city is progressing, and our city is in this great time of turning itself around, and so it's been really amazing to see how just everybody is coming together, and we have great relationships with the city officials and business people in the police department, and so it's really amazing to see how we are. Hagerstown is a big little town. Like it is. People come in all the time, and you know people, and everyone knows somebody sitting in the shop, and so it's just been really cool to see how it's all come together and everybody has the same goal in mind.
The dream of the theater's expansion had been 40 years in the making, but timing is everything, and the stars aligned, and I think one of the most attractive pieces to what has now become known as the Urban Improvement Project, the UIP, is that it was a public-private partnership, both in funding and in actually what the project entailed. So you have the public school system, you have the USMH, secondary education, and then you have the theater that's a nonprofit.
Leveraging the transformation of our downtown is critical for my success in my role. When new developers come into the area or site selectors come and visit Hagerstown, they're looking to see what the community is doing as far as investments and looking for that continued growth.
Just to see that we have an architect downtown. We have a coffee shop that you can't keep the door closed on because people are constantly swinging it open and closed. I think opportunities like that are still coming in, and it's just phenomenal to see that.
Everything that we've been told and promised has come true here. These are people that live by their word, and as you work through an agreement to invest this amount of money in a community, you want to know that the person on the other side of the table is honest, fair, and is somewhat putting themselves in your shoes on, is this a place for me to invest? And I've seen that from the top down. And we know that besides labor and logistics, when you really get down to the granular, one major thing that drives economic development is infrastructure.
A great example of that is the NORTHPOINT development on Basil Boulevard. Basil Boulevard is a street that was built in the 1980s, but it didn't anticipate the amount of traffic that would be generated by such a large development. And working in partnership with the developer, the county, and the city together, we're going to rebuild Basil Boulevard to support the wonderful development that's going to be occurring out there in 2020 and 2021.
I've used the word partnership a lot today, but we really sort of bake this pie with all these ingredients, and none of us could have done it by ourselves, but collectively we did it together. And I'm proud of that. And like I said, when the road's done and the buildings are up, and the user says, this looks great, this is how a business park should look, this is the entrance, the corporate image that I want as my entrance, I think we're all going to be really pleased with the money we spent on this infrastructure.
We also have a large employer, Conagra Foods is going to be expanding their lines, and they're going to be hiring over 100 employees in the coming year. So we're very excited about those opportunities that exist.
There is not a day goes by that my phone does not ring due to a prospective business owner, someone who's already downtown and leased and wants to know when they can host their grand opening. It's the idea that people can't get enough of Hagerstown.
This is one of the best communities that I've ever encountered across the entire U.S. in terms of their openness, their can-do attitude, and just the really ability to roll up their sleeves and solve problems and overcome obstacles to get this project off the ground.
As you've seen and heard, economic development only happens as a result of an incredible team effort that starts with the investor. Then every department and division within the city, from community and economic development and planning and code, to engineering, public works and utilities, to fire and police, all play critical roles in paving the road to success. While 2019 was a banner year for economic development in Hagerstown, I can assure you 2020 is shaping up to raise that bar even higher. With the momentum rolling and our potential being realized, there's no end to what we can do together to continue to grow this city, our city, into the thriving vision we all share and know it can be.